Hey everyone, this is Anam. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be explaining the poem on killing a tree along with all the poetic devices. The poem is taken from the book Beehive of class 9 and is written by Jeev Patel. Jeev Patel is an Indian poet, playwright, painter, as well as a practicing physician. He is one of those writers who have subscribed themselves to the green movement, which is involved in an effort to protect the environment. Most of his articles, his poems are related to environmental issues, and he tries to create awareness among the people. His poems speak of deep concerns for nature and expose man's cruelty to it. In this poem, the poet sensitizes the reader and highlights the fact that trees are living things. He equates trees with humans to convey that trees should not be cut because destroying trees is just like killing a human being. It is a criticism of human callousness and cruelty. Callousness means hard-heartedness, when somebody doesn't have any kind of emotions, any kind of feelings, right? We call that person a callous person. Let's begin. It takes much time to kill a tree, not a simple jab of the knife will do it. So here in this poem, the poet explains how to kill a tree, right? What is the right method to kill a tree, but he doesn't mean it. He is only being sarcastic. He is addressing the poem to those people who doesn't have any kind of feelings towards the trees and environment. So he is making sarcastic remarks, right? Let's begin. It takes much time to kill a tree, not a simple jab of the knife will do it. Jab means a rough blow, hit. The poet says that it isn't a simple task to kill a tree. It takes a lot of time. You cannot kill a tree just by hitting it with a knife. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it. A tree grows up, taking a long time. Slowly it comes out of the earth's surface, consuming it. Consuming the earth means using the earth, using the water, the nutrients, minerals which are present in the soil. Feeding upon its crust. Crust means the upper surface of the earth. So after using all the nutrients and water, it starts rising out of the earth and it finally comes out, absorbing years of sunlight, air and water. So for many years, it absorbs a lot of sunlight, air and water, and that's how it grows up. And out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. Finally, from its bark, from its stems and twigs, leaves start to sprout. Leprous hide means brownish color of the bark. So leprosy is a disease in which a person's skin starts a discoloration of the skin starts. It starts becoming discolored, right? Some patches are formed on the skin of a person. So he's comparing the bark of a tree, which is brownish, which is a little discolored, with a person who suffers with leprosy. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. The poet is saying, so you can hack it, you can attack on the tree with a knife or a sharp object, but this alone will not serve your purpose. It will not kill the tree. Not so much pain will do it. It will not cause the tree a lot of pain. The bleeding bark will heal. From close to the ground will rise curled green twigs. The bleeding bark will heal. So you must have noticed when you hit the bark of a tree with a sharp object, with a knife, a liquid comes out, right? A liquid oozes out of the bark. So he is comparing that liquid with blood. When you hit a human, blood comes out, and when you hit a tree, a sort of liquid comes out. So he says that yes, it bleeds for some time, but the bark heals itself. And again, small green colored twigs come out of its stems, miniature boughs. Small leaves, small stems and twigs, they again start coming out. which if unchecked will expand again to former size. Former means previous. So if it is unchecked means if some human being attacks it again, it will heal itself, it will expand again and reach its former size. No, the root is to be pulled out. The poet is saying that it's a wrong method to kill a tree, to hit it with a knife. If you really want to kill a tree, you have to pull out the root, out of the anchoring earth. Anchoring earth means the earth which was providing support to the tree. The tree is standing on the earth, and if you want to kill it, you have to pull it out from the earth. It is to be roped, tied and pulled out, snapped out or pulled out entirely. Out from the earth cave. Earth cave means a cave. A cave is a home for the animals. Similarly, earth cave means earth is just like a home for the tree. It keeps the root safe, right, by holding on to it. But if you want to kill it, you have to pull it out entirely from its home where it was safe. And the strength of the tree exposed. When you do it, when you pull the tree out from the earth, you expose its strength. Means all the strength of the tree is gone. It has started to die. The source, white and wet. The source means roots. Roots are white and they are wet because they are always inside the earth. The most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. The most sensitive part of a tree is its root. If you pull out the root, automatically the tree will die. It will not heal again, right? So he says the most sensitive part is to be pulled out and then finally it dies. Then the matter of scorching and choking in the sun and air. So when the root is exposed, it starts decaying. Browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. The color starts changing, it gets brownish and then blackish. The wood starts getting hardened, it becomes very brittle. You can break it when once it is hard. It twists, it withers, means the tree decays, and then it is done, and finally it dies. So like I said, the poet is pointing out the cruelty of people, like they are least concerned about the environment and trees. So he is trying to say that we should not harm a tree, because when we do it, we just not kill a tree, but we just not cut a tree. In fact, we kill it, because a tree is also a living being. Let's discuss the poetic devices now. First one is rhyme scheme. There is no rhyme scheme in the poem. It is a free verse. Let's discuss the poetic devices stanza wise. In first stanza, the first poetic device is personification. See the very first line. It takes much time to kill a tree. Stanzas are given on the right hand side of your screen. In the first line, it is written to kill a tree. Now, the poet is not saying to cut a tree. He is saying to kill a tree, because he treats a tree as a person. So, it is called personification. Next is enjambment. Very simple. See the bold words: knife, groan, feeding, absorbing, hide. So, after these lines, no punctuation mark has been used. So, when in a poem there is no punctuation mark after the end of a line and the line continues to the next, it is called enjambment. So many examples in this stanza only. Third is metaphor. See the underlined words: leprous, hide. Metaphor means indirect comparison. So here the poet is comparing the brownish colored, the discolored bark of a tree with the discolored skin of a person who suffers with leprosy. So he is comparing a human being's skin which is discolored with the discolored bark of a tree. It is called metaphor. In stanza 2, first poetic device that we have is alliteration. See the underlined words: bleeding bark. B sound is repeated here, which is a consonant sound. So it is called alliteration. Next is metaphor. In the same phrase, bleeding bark, there is an indirect comparison. Here, the poet is comparing the bleeding skin of a person with the bleeding bark. So when you hit a human being, blood comes out, and when you hit the bark of a tree, a liquid comes out, right? So there is a comparison between the tree's liquid and blood. So this is also metaphor. Again, enjambment has been used. It is very simple to find a trace. As you can see, the bold words chop, heel, ground, bows. Again, after all these lines, no punctuation mark has been used. So this poetic device is called enjambment, when there is an absence of punctuation mark. Third stanza, first poetic device is alliteration. See the third last line, the source white and wet. V sound is repeated in white and wet. So this is alliteration. Next is repetition. Very simple. You can see the underlined words. Pulled out, pulled out, pulled out is used 3 times in first line, fourth line and fifth line. So it is called repetition. Again, in this stanza also enjambment has been used. As you can see, the bold words snapped out, tree exposed, hidden. After all these lines, no punctuation mark like comma, full stop, semicolon has been used. So these all are examples of enjambment. This is it. Very simple poem. If you liked the video, then please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.